We are back for another series preview. Ignore my horrible hair flow, and it feels like we're going back to last September of 2020 when the Islanders faced the Lightning in the conference finals last year. And look, they're facing each other again. Now, the differences between those two teams is there's some new players on each team, and different season, of course, and they took different ways to get there. So, let's get into the preview. But first off, if you're new to the channel, haven't already subscribed, make sure to do that. And yeah. Alright, so the records between these two teams in playoff series is 3-0 in favor of Tampa. Of course, we know last year the Islanders faced the Lightning in the bubble, and the Lightning won in 6 games. So this is the 4th time in NHL history these two teams have faced off in the finals. Last year, thought I'd go back to last year, Tampa took them to beat Columbus in 5 games and to beat Boston in 5 games to face the New York Islanders. And last season for the Islanders, it took them to beat the Panthers in the playing rounds, the Caps in 5 games, the Flyers, hate my life, in 7 games, and last season, of course, we know they lost to the Lightning in 6 games. This year, though, it's different because these teams have not played each other all season. Tampa beat the Florida Panthers in the first round in 6 games, and then they beat the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games, being the 3rd seed in that conference, or in that division. The Islanders, they beat the Penguins, the 1st seed, in 6 games, and they beat Boston, the 3rd series, in also 6 games, as the 4th seed. So it just goes to show that anything can happen in the playoffs, and all these divisions were heavily stacked. Except for, you could argue the Central was a bit light, but you know what I mean. So let's get into the playoff leaders here. Jean-Gabriel Pageau leads for the Islanders with 13 points and 10 assists as well. He's been great for them, great deadline acquisition. He's really been putting up the numbers over the course of the regular season and the playoffs. He's been doing pretty good. And then this looks great for the Islanders. And if they want to leave this guy here, I'm sure he wouldn't complain. Kyle Palmieri with 7 goals. I don't think anyone is going to complain if the Islanders do go out and sign Palmieri. Do I think they might have enough cap space to do so? Maybe not. But I think if they brought him back, definitely a good idea. Because he has been great for the Islanders in this playoffs. Been scoring very key goals, some overtime goals, some game winners, some game tiers. He's been scoring the goals that were needed for this team to win. Simeon Varalamov for the Islanders. I thought about putting Sorokin in there, but since Varlamov played the whole series, 2.62 goals against average, great analytic. I think that's definitely going to, affect the Lightning. And I feel like, although the roster is very similar, besides, Palmieri and Zajac being the only 2 different ones facing the Lightning, I feel like this series is going to be a lot closer than it was last season, because in last year's playoffs, when these two teams faced each other, Tampa took the first 2 games. Islanders won Game 3, Tampa won Game 4, Islanders won Game 5 in overtime, and Tampa won Game 6, of course. But I feel like this is probably going to go 7, maybe 6, but it might go 7. And you know what? I want to say that, Tampa's power play is lethal, and they're just going to, light up the Islanders like they did last year. I feel like this is a different Islanders team. I really do. Although it's the same roster, I just feel like it's going to be different this season. And you know what? With the way the Islanders play, like the New York Saints, that's one of the best things in the playoffs. I got to be entirely honest. It's like the bunch of jerks with the Hurricanes, but a level below that. You know what I mean? The bunch of jerks was way better. But with the Islanders, the way they play, they probably could take down the Lightning. I'm being entirely honest. And that's coming from someone who criticized them all last playoffs. And you could even say this right now. You could argue, oh, Jari was a weak goalie in those games. That's why they lost. That's why they won. And then you could argue, oh, Rask was a weak goalie in those games, and that's why they won. Like, you know, you can argue whatever you want. I argued that they were playing teams that didn't look didn't look normal, because the Flyers didn't look normal and the Caps were the Capitals. So, you know, I'm not trying to criticize them in any way. Back then I was, because I was a salty Flyers fan, but you know what I mean. Anyways, let's get into the Tampa statistics. Nikita Kucherov, it's like he's never left, with 18 points, 13 assists. I've heard some people argue like, oh, he has been healthy for a while. I mean, he started practicing or getting back into the flow in probably April, beginning of April, I want to say. So he has been healthy for a good amount of time, but Tampa can't fit him in there during the regular season. And the rules are, in the playoffs, there's no salary cap. So that's how the league works. There's no salary cap in the playoffs, so you can put the best team out there to win the Stanley Cup. And you know what? It's not like Tampa's not going to put Kucherov in there when they have the opportunity. So, I mean, people have been criticizing that, saying they need to change up the rules. It's been too weak. I would probably say that the fact that they can put Nilsson and Gaborik on the LTIR and just be perfectly fine with it, like those guys aren't even injured, but they're putting them on the LTIR. Like, I love Anders Nilsson. I want to see him play more, but they have him on LTIR, which is annoying. So, you know, whatever. But I don't think Kucherov was healthy for very long. He was healthy for at least 2 weeks, because I mean, like I said, they can't put him in there. But you know what I mean. We'll move on. Braden Point leads the team with 8 goals. I thought he was robbed of a Conn Smythe Trophy last season. If the Lightning move on and win the Stanley Cup back-to-back years, I would love to see him win it. Although, judging by from the first 2 rounds, it'll probably be Kucherov. And then you got Andrei Vasilevskiy being the complete backbone for the Lightning with a 2.24 goals against average as a goalie. He was shut down in the Hurricane series. The Hurricanes, I think, outshot Tampa in a lot of those games, and I think like 3 or 4 or 5 of those, maybe even the whole series, they outshot them in almost every single game. But Vasilevskiy has just been a brick wall for them. And he hardly let in any goals in the Hurricane series. So it's unbelievable to see that. I think that this is going to be an insanely close series. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to win this series. I am really, really entertained and really interested to watch this. So yeah, thank y'all for watching, for all your support. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.